Hello and welcome to our podcast on health insurance. We talk so much about health insurance and its importance in the face of rising medical expenses. The cost of hospitalization and subsequent treatment have gone up by a huge margin over the past several years. We are all aware of how a sudden accident or unforeseen illness can result in prolonged treatment, thus making a dent in our hard-earned savings. As we go into details about the specific details of health insurance, let us discuss its benefits that justify why buying a health insurance plan is essential to creating and maintaining a sound personal finance portfolio. To discuss the issue, we have with us Mr. Amit Chhabra. Mr. Amit leads the health insurance business unit for PolicyBazaar. As well as he has also been able to showcase a significant turnaround for the health insurance business unit and make PolicyBazaar as one-stop destination for all the online health insurance needs. Mr. Amit is also responsible for forging new partnerships to further expand the health insurance business. Welcome to the show, sir. Our podcast that guides you through various steps to financial secure future. Today, we are given to discuss the benefits of having a health insurance plan in place. This program is brought to you by ManipalCigna Health Insurance. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Ananika. Doing great. Hope all well at your end as well.
Absolutely, sir. I'm doing great and I hope everyone is fine. So we'll start by discussing the first and a major benefit of health insurance, which is comprehensive coverage. Suffering from health-related ailments is common and the cost of treatment is high, thus depriving many people of necessary health care. How does a health insurance policy with adequate coverage ensure that you get the necessary medical treatment without worrying about expenses?
Sure. See, what comprehensive health insurance means is basically one health insurance policy which will give you coverage against anything or everything, whatever could happen to anybody. So it could be COVID-19, it could be cancer, it could be a heart attack, it could be diabetes, it could be, as common as an accident. Anything that could ever happen to you, a comprehensive health insurance policy covers for the hospitalization costs for it. And actually, it's not just hospitalization costs, it's also a lot of allied costs that come with hospitalization. They also get covered by the health insurance policy. So, for example, if let's say somebody is not being hospitalized but is going for a daycare treatment, like let's say in cancer, chemotherapy is a daycare treatment, so that also gets covered. In case you've gone through some medical checkups before you went to a hospital, that also gets covered. In case there is some follow-up treatment after hospitalization, that also gets covered. So by comprehensive, I think for a common man, what's a simple analogy is anything and everything to do with hospitalization, including costs before and after hospitalization, they get covered in a comprehensive health insurance policy for anything that can happen to you.
So it is specially made for common people like before hospitalization or after hospitalization, or if you're having a medical health insurance, it is going to cover everything, isn't it?
Of course, and I think it is, the first investment also that anybody needs to make, or the first saving that anybody needs to make, because see, today, and then the situation has only been amplified by the current COVID times. But today, I think what one definitely fears about is, your own health. Now, what is happening in the outside world, specific to COVID is not really in our control. But what is in one's control is the financial impact that COVID or any other illness like a cancer or a heart problem could bring to you. That is something that is completely in our control, and that is what health insurance solves. So that's why most financial planners, when they are suggesting something, their first advice is always, as a first investment before you go invest into, let's say, stock markets or mutual funds or even a fixed deposit. The first thing that one must do is one must buy a health insurance policy, because in case something bad happens to you, and that's becoming more and more common, then at least you're financially safe and your savings are not wiped off completely because of a disease. So that is why I think it's built for the common man. It is for the common man, and also it's more and more becoming easier to buy. One can buy on EMIs, and also it does not really need a lot of money also from anybody. It's fairly economical to buy as well. So it's definitely built for the common man, for the middle class, to protect themselves from any financial impact of a disease.
Okay, sir, absolutely correct. So, moving forward with the second question, an adequate health plan provides financial security against risking medical cost. Can you explain how this helps?
Sure. See, I think one thing important here is to define what adequate means. So by adequate, it basically means a plan which has an adequate sum insured. So let's say if I'll talk about myself. I have a family, I have my wife, me, my wife, and my daughter. Now for three of us, the sum insured that I have is a 1 crore sum insured health plan. What that means is that in case one of us or all three of us get hospitalized, then coverage up to 1 crore rupees is provided. Now, basically, what does this mean? This means that it will pretty much cover for anything that can potentially ever happen to me or to my family. So that is adequate. A lot of times, and typically, in the past, what used to happen was people used to have 2 lakh, 3 lakh, 5 lakh sum insured policies. The problem with those is, given the current times, given the kind of hospitals that are there, and given the kind of treatments that are needed, those small policies of 2 lakh, 3 lakh, 5 lakh sum insured is not enough. It's not adequate. That is where a high sum insured policy becomes very, very important because I think adequacy is critical to ensure that your health insurance saves you at the time of stress. So I think buying an adequate health insurance policy will make sure that come what may happen to you, and it could be something, as I said, as common as an accident or as grave as cancer or could be COVID, which is very common right now. At least financially you are secure and safe, and whatever the cost is will be paid off by the health insurance. Yeah, of course, and see, specifically in the COVID times, again it gets amplified even more because COVID is such an easy spreading disease that typically what we have seen is if one person in the family gets it, then everybody gets it. So,
Absolutely.
so that's why, specifically for people who are living in a family, you have more people, you have a child, a parent, there it becomes even more important to have a higher sum insured because the chances of, more people getting exposed is really high.
Absolutely, sir. So, moving forward with the third question, what are cashless treatment benefits? And what makes cashless health insurance a preferred option among people inclined to seek health insurance?
Sure. See, what cashless basically means, as the word suggests, that there's nothing to be paid out from the customer's pocket. And what happens is, in case there is hospitalization, the insurance company will directly pay to the hospital, and the customer can practically, be cashless. You can just go, get treated, and walk out, and everything else is taken care of by the insurance company. Now, why is cashless important? Cashless is very, very important because of one simple reason. At the time of distress, you really don't want to be, out there searching for money or trying to arrange money because that can get very difficult. And specifically, if the earning member in the family gets ill, then it can really get really difficult for the rest of the family. So a cashless policy basically removes any stress or burden on the policy holder, and a customer can just be rest assured that the hospital bill will be taken care of. So the insurance company will pay directly to the hospital and the customer can be completely free.
So, moving on, the next topic is no claim bonus. So, is it true that not making any claim during a year or refraining from making frivolous claims can help you earn a bonus as reward for maintaining good health?
Yeah, that is very true. Basically, how it works is, in case since you've been a great customer for the insurance company and you've not claimed in the previous year, the insurance company wants to reward you. The way they reward is basically by they basically reward you by giving you an additional sum insured in your policy. So let me take an example. Let's say if I have 10 lakh sum insured right now, and I have not claimed in the current year, then again it varies by insurance companies, but they will give me some additional sum insured. So they might make my sum insured from 10 lakhs to 15 lakhs or from 10 lakhs to 12 lakhs, which will vary by the company that one has. But every customer will get some benefit out of not claiming in the current year. That benefit is called no claim bonus.
Okay, sir. So, my next question to you is regarding the rewards for a healthy lifestyle. So, what if your insurance company rewarded you for staying fit? Is it possible, or is this company limited to papers only?
Oh, absolutely, it is possible. And in fact, there are a lot of customers who every year get a discount on their renewal for leading a healthy lifestyle. Typically, every year we see that 20 to 30% of people get this discount. So it's very real. Anybody can get it, and trust me, it's not very difficult as well. The only thing is, if you stay healthy, your health insurance policy technically starts to become cheaper for you every year.
Okay. So, my next question to you is on loyalty discounts. Health insurance companies are now driving member loyalty. So, can you tell us more about it?
So what this typically means is that, so let's say if I have a health insurance policy from ManipalCigna, then let's say I have one for my parents for ManipalCigna, and then I have to buy one, let's say, for myself. So this way, I become loyal to one company. I become loyal to ManipalCigna, and then for that, ManipalCigna rewards me as a customer. They give me a discount in the health insurance policy if I am an existing policy holder as well for somebody else in the family. Objective is, of course, from the company, the objective is that, a customer stays loyal to them. For the customer also, it saves a lot of money. So it works well for both the parties.
Restoration benefits. What is this benefit about, and also do your customer avail this benefit?
Sure. This is, I think, one of the most important benefits in health insurance right now. So by restoration, what we basically mean is, let's explain this through an example. Let's say I and my wife have a 10 lakh sum insured policy. Now, let's say something happens to me, and because of that, the entire 10 lakhs gets used up or gets exhausted. Now, what will happen is that my wife, theoretically has no balance left or no sum insured balance left because I have already used all of it. But that actually does not happen in the real world, because what happens is that there is a benefit called restoration benefit in a lot of policies, where in case one of the members has used up all the sum insured, then the entire sum insured becomes available again to the other members in the family. So let's say in this case, I have consumed all the 10 lakhs, and now if my wife wants another 10 lakhs for herself, she actually has it, because the entire sum insured gets restored for once. So what the customer gets is, sum insured being available for everybody in the family. So there, it really helps the customers. That is restoration benefit.
Okay, so this is a very important question for all our listeners, where we are going to talk about annual health checkup. So some health insurance policies allow free medical checkups too. So could you please elaborate on the same?
So I think this is one of the most the easiest to use, easiest benefits that one gets in a health insurance policy, apart from the hospitalization benefits. So every year one can, schedule an appointment and visit a diagnostic center to get your health checkup done. This is an annual feature typically in most policies, and you can just go and get your health checkup done. Now, typically, a good quality health checkup costs anywhere between 3 to 4,000 rupees per person. However, it comes free with most policies. So it's almost like an additional benefit that one gets out of buying a health insurance policy. It's good. It's really good for the customers, because, to be very honest, it's very important these days to keep a track of one's health. If everything's okay in terms of diabetes or hypertension or cholesterol levels and all. So it really helps for customers to keep a track of their health, and in case there is something bad that comes out of the reports, one can definitely go further and take the right course of action to ensure that the health condition doesn't worsen.
Okay, so the last question of this podcast is what are the key things customers should keep in mind while buying a health insurance policy?
See, I think for the first thing that somebody must decide when they're buying a health insurance policy is what sum insured that you must buy. I think sum insured is the single most important factor in deciding your health insurance policy, because that decides the amount of coverage you have. The higher the sum insured, the better it is, because given the current times, how healthcare costs are going up, and how incidence of hospitalization, specifically COVID, is so high. So I think very clearly the first important thing that one must look to do is decide the sum insured that one wants to buy and maximize that. That's one. The second thing is look at limitations in a health insurance policy. So, and again, this is something that one needs to be very, very conscious about. There are specifically 2-3 things that one needs to look after. The first is the room rent limit. Now, room rent limit basically means what is the maximum cost of a room that will be paid out by the insurance company per day of hospitalization. And this varies from companies to companies. There's specifically a lot of traditional plans or old plans which were sold earlier. They used to have a capping by an amount, like let's say 3,000 rupees per night or 5,000 rupees per night. The problem with that is 5,000 rupees per night would have been sufficient probably 5 years from now. But right now, given how conditions are, we see that in most top hospitals, the room rents are in excess of 10,000-15,000 rupees. So in that case, what might happen is that you may have a room rent capping of 5,000 rupees, but your actual room will be costing 10,000 rupees. In which case, only half of the bill will be paid by the insurer. The rest will have to be paid from your own pocket. So in this case, what is advised for customers is to ideally go for a plan which has no room rent capping, which basically means that you can go to any room in any hospital and it will just be covered. There's no specific amount-based capping. It just says either you can take any room or there will be a category-based capping. Like what it might say is that one can go for a single private room at any hospital of your choice. That ensures that you have complete coverage. So that's point one. The second thing is co-payment. Again, something very, very critical. Co-payment means the amount within your health insurance policy which has to be paid by you instead of the insurer. And it varies. In some plans, there is zero co-payment. In some plans, there is a co-payment which goes as high as 10, 20, 30% also. Ideally, one should buy a plan which has no co-payment. But again, this becomes a very, very critical point at the time of buying a health insurance policy. I think these are the two basic limitations that one must specifically look at. The third thing is to look at the claim settlement ratio of the insurance company that you're going for. Now, claim settlement ratio basically means out of 100 claims that came to the insurance company, how many were settled or how many were paid out by the customer, by the insurance company to the hospital or to the customer. The higher the claim settlement ratio, the better it is. So again, one must look at the claim settlement ratio and based on that decide what to buy and how to buy. So I think these are probably three very, very critical factors that one must look at before they decide to buy. As I said, one was sum insured, the second one was what limitations that a plan has, and the third one is the claim settlement ratio of the company. There are a lot more factors as well, which are very specific, different kind of needs. But yes, these are the three ones which apply to everybody, and you must look at them before you decide which policy to buy.
Well, that was a lovely insight having a word with Mr. Amit Chhabra on this episode of Financial Vaccination, where we were discussing on the topic understanding various benefits in health insurance. Thank you so much, sir, for being on the show with us.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
An adequate health insurance cover gives you much needed peace of mind and keeps you and your family clear of the financial burden of life. The benefit of buying health insurance are many and myriad, which you may make use of depending on your need. At the end of the day, it matters if you have substantial health cover to meet rising medical expenses due to inflation. Those aiming for a better life must ensure to include a health insurance policy in their financial portfolio. Stay protected, stay healthy is the mantra to healthy longevity. After all, health hai to life hai.